Farmweek is a production of the Mississippi State University Extension Service.
Today on Farmweek, a 13-year-old Lauderdale County boy dies tragically in a farm accident.
Bird repellent has been okayed for use on corn seed this planting season in Mississippi.
In southern gardening, sedums. These plants are so tough they can grow on hot roofs.
In the markets, pond bank prices for catfish continue to slip, while the cotton trade could be setting itself up for a surprise on March 28th.
In the feature segment, the 2013 Dixie National Sale of Junior Champions. This year marked a milestone. A total of $5 million in winning bids have been collected in its 44-year history.
It's a lot of hard work, and getting up at 5:30 every morning to go feed and stuff isn't as fun then, but then it all pays off at the end. You've worked all year and you're standing out there and that judge comes up and shakes your hand. It just makes it all worth it.
Good day, everyone. I'm Leighton Spann.
And I'm Artis Ford. Welcome to Farm Week.
A tragedy occurred this week. It took a young boy's life in Lauderdale County, Mississippi.
Leighton, the accident occurred Tuesday afternoon. The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office says it was a tragic accident and no foul play is suspected. WTOK television reports that 13-year-old Ben Hammond died while helping his grandfather. The two were hooking up a front loader on a tractor when the accident occurred. It happened on Linton Road in the southeast portion of the county. Hammond was a student at Southeast Lauderdale Middle School. Lauderdale County Chief Deputy Ward Calhoun said that there is no suspicion of foul play at this time. Calhoun said it's certainly a terrible thing for that community and family, and our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
Mississippi corn farmers will have an aid this year when they go to plant. A special local need pesticide registration has been issued by the Environmental Protection Agency for the state. Field corn and sweet corn farmers will have the option of using Avapel when they plant their seed. Avapel helps keep blackbirds and cowbirds from eating planted seed. Extension Service agronomist Eric Larson with the Mississippi State University Extension Service says Avapel contains a natural, non-lethal compound that makes the seed taste bad to birds. Mississippi corn farmers can be hit hard by bird predation because it is the first crop planted each year. Larson says the liquid form of Avapel works the best in areas with high bird populations because it adheres to the seed better. The dry form is easier to use, but some of it may be blown off or knocked off the seeds in planters that use air or vacuum systems.
Well, direct payments in farm programs could be a thing of the past if U.S. Senate Ag Committee Chairman Debbie Stabenow has her way. Last week, Stabenow proposed that all direct payments be eliminated as a way for the Congress to cut spending and avoid automatic sequester cuts. Stabenow says that this will save about $27.5 billion. She did not propose cutting any other part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's budget. This is not a new position for Stabenow. The Michigan Democrats said in March of last year that the era of direct payments is over. Stabenow says there is strong bipartisan support in the Senate to do this. U.S. House Agriculture Committee Chairman Frank Lucas called Stabenow's proposal not acceptable. He pointed out that the House Agriculture Committee passed a farm bill which would cut more than $35 billion from all of USDA's budget. That includes the Farm Safety Net, conservation programs, and reforming the SNAP program, also known as food stamps.
China is said to be the world's biggest market for wood fiber. Can you name the second largest? Well, the answer is India, according to RISI, a company that studies the global forest products industry. In a report released Wednesday, RISI says India's wood fiber deficit is forecast to more than double between 2011 and 2021. RISI says Indian companies aren't allowed to own the large amounts of land that are needed to establish forestry operations. Since the opportunity for domestic wood production is limited, India's need for imported wood fiber will be sustained for several decades. Rizzi said it did not, however, expect India's wood fiber needs to follow the explosive patterns of China.
Well, not every interesting landscape plant has to be large in size. In this week's Southern Gardening segment, Extension horticulturist Dr. Gary Bachman gives us a close look at the many shapes, colors, and textures of sedum.
One of the most diverse and interesting groups of plants are sedums. Though small in stature, sedums pack a punch with varied shapes, colors, and textures. There are actually several species that tend to be lumped together as sedums. All are succulent plants having fleshy leaves. The leaf shapes vary from broad and flat to thick and stubby. The colors range from green to red to icy blue, and many have tinges of red. The Kalanchoe variety panda bear is even fuzzy. The seafoam green foliage has a soft pubescence with rusty garnet trim along the leaf edge. An interesting choice is Sedum clavatum. The thick succulent leaves are grayish-green with pink tips. I really like the gray-pink foliage colors of Graptovaria and Echeveria. After watering, the tight rosettes hold droplets of water that seem to resemble diamonds. In previous Southern Gardening segments, we have seen sedum combination containers. These are a perfect way to display a variety of sedums, and they're easy to make. Select a nice shallow ceramic container. This will be in better proportion with the sedum plants. Choose a variety and transplant into potting mix. The containers are ready to display the beauty of sedums. Sedums are an easy-to-grow group of plants that will reward you with interesting textures and colors. I'm horticulturist Gary Bachman for Southern Gardening.
Gary says that sedums are often used when green roofs are planted on the tops of large buildings. In the feature segment today, Farmweek's Amy Taylor reports on this year's Dixie National Sale of Junior Champions. The 44th sale saw it establish a tremendous mark. Time now for the markets with Leighton, and cotton futures have rallied despite enormous world stocks, you say.
That's right, Artis, and we'll be sharing one trader's strategy between now and that prospective plantings report in March. Also ahead this week, challenges continue for farm-raised catfish. A little downside in feeder cattle prices is forecast in the short term as the grain trade watches the weather in Argentina. The latest snapshot of the U.S. catfish industry was rolled out Wednesday afternoon. The figures reflect what was happening in the month of January. Last month, producers received a pond bank price of 81 cents per pound. That is 42 cents per pound under what was paid 1 year ago. Farm sales totaled 29.5 million pounds round weight. That is an increase of 14% from December. Processor sales were an even 16 million pounds, an increase of 19% from 1 year ago. Extension Ag economist Dr. John Michael Riley sums up the state of the catfish business pretty simply. He calls it an industry in decline. And he's not just talking about Mississippi with that comment, but the U.S. as a whole. Here's that interview. John Michael, we're in a new year now. Has the picture changed at all as far as farm-raised catfish?
It is not. It's still an industry that is in a state of decline. Nationally, water acres in the U.S. down 7%. Here in Mississippi, down 5%. It's 48,600 total acres, in catfish farms. There's no plans for Mississippi producers to do any type of new construction of catfish ponds. A few may be renovating, but for the most part, it's just it's still in this state of flux in terms of people really exiting because costs are so high, and then we have seen a depression of prices over the past number of months.
And again, one problem, the processor inventories remain very high, right? Especially when we talk about frozen product in particular.
That's right. It's one of those. It's not really moving off the shelf like they would like for it to see. We did see total inventories decline in the U.S. down 8%, weight down 5%. So there is because of this reduction in acres, the total number of available supplies is going to be declining, but there is still a bit of a stockpile from a frozen standpoint.
As far as the price picture, the pond bank price that catfish farmers actually receive, is that likely to change at all in a positive manner as we move ahead here?
Thinking about the reduction, it could benefit prices once this kind of glut of supply moves along. But for the most part, prices declined pretty rapidly in 2012, ended the year with an annual price of 97.6 pounds or dollars per pound versus $1.17 per pound. So there was a fall off in prices, which led to the reduction in acres. But if the supply does start to dwindle, that could be positive for prices moving forward in 2013.
And obviously, too, I guess the competition from imports, other products, if that could be handled somehow, that possibly could help the picture.
That would always help, right? It's not a big issue elsewhere in the United States. Here in the South, it is something that could be benefited from.
Mm-hmm. So the industry continues to look for some solutions and trying to take some steps that will move this in a positive direction.
And lower corn and bean prices will always help as well.
But the outlook there is not necessarily good at this point either.
Not right now.
The USDA released its cattle on feed estimates Friday afternoon, the 22nd, after the markets closed. Analyst Jamie Kohaki says the fact that bullish reports so far this new year have failed to pull the market forward indicate the beef sector, as he says, is technically tired and weak.
We only got 1 day of spillover off of each report, and for as bullish as those reports were, that's very, very disappointing. And I think that's what scared somebody. I was like, we get 1 day, get me out, we'll correct, and I'll buy into it again later. I still think there's another dollar and a half down in the feeders. Just technicals, I think, going to go down and retest the recent lows. We're so close to it now, why not? And then start back up again. Longer term, I think we're fine. We're just flushing everybody out right now and then starting pretty much back over again.
It's official now. U.S. milk production set a record in 2012, over 2% higher than the previous year. The nation's dairy herd was the largest it's been in 4 years in 2012, according to the USDA. Production per cow has increased an average of over 15% in the last 10 years. Our trivia quiz this week deals with agricultural aviation, and here is the quiz question. If you're using aerial application, forestry herbicides must be applied by what type of aircraft? Is the answer A, fixed-wing airplane, or B, helicopter? You'll find out in a few more minutes.
We're going to pause for a short break on Farm Week. Coming up, we'll look at the calendar. And in the second part of the markets, Leighton Spann reports that all the talk about cotton acreage dropping might prompt some to plant, while soy meal and soy oil are said to be underpriced. In the feature segment today, the 2013 Dixie National Sale of Junior Champions. It's the pinnacle of the junior livestock show circuit in Mississippi.
At Mississippi State University, Extension is reaching beyond the college campus and impacting adult education. We're instructing agricultural professionals on the latest trends in research and technology, inspiring communities, empowering small businesses, and promoting the growth of healthy families where youth and adults can reach their fullest potential.
The MSU Extension Service, sharing our vision for the future.
Before we get back to the markets, let's look at the Farm Week calendar. Mississippi Women in Agriculture will hold their annual conference on Thursday, February 28th. The location is MSU Central Mississippi Research and Extension Center on Seven Springs Road at Raymond. Budgeting, management, and networking are among the items on the agenda. The 23rd Mississippi State University Greenhouse Tomato Short Course takes place Tuesday and Wednesday, March 5th and 6th. The location is the Eagle Ridge Conference Center on Raymond Lake Road at Raymond. Now, the early registration deadline has passed, so the price is now $175. This is the nation's top greenhouse tomato short course. It's not unusual for participants to come from 25 states. Pest management, direct sales, getting the best fruit quality, and many other subjects will be covered. We will have online registration links on our Farm Week website calendar. Go to our Farm Week website at farmweek.msucares.com for information on these and other events. Now check out this week's Farm Week Snapshot.
There was no real new fresh news for corn at midweek, especially from the export side of the market. The nearby supply does remain very tight. Analysts are said to be watching weather in the western Corn Belt and Argentina while they await the monthly USDA numbers that will come out in March. The supply and demand estimates will be released March 8th. In the soybean sector, analyst Virgil Robinson says that bean prices themselves are not too high, but he is of the opinion that prices for some of the products made from those beans, specifically soybean meal and soybean oil, are too low for the market right now.
I think the prospect for increased soybean oil usage to produce biodiesel in the next several months is very strong. Soybean meal exports have been very strong. If processors take to heart the lack of profitability and reduce their processing capacities, the availability of those two products is going to be significantly smaller. And as a result of that, be advised, if you're a user of each of those two products, that possibility exists, and you need to manage the risks associated with that.
As reported on the website agfacts.com, the Doan Cotton Commentary is advocating hedge protection. Doan says futures have rallied well even in the face of the big global cotton stocks. The analytical firm also says the market is setting itself up for a bearish reaction to the upcoming March 28th Planting Intentions Report. They say all the talk about a huge drop in cotton acreage coming this spring could actually convince some farmers that they shouldn't cut back so much after all, and that could create a surprise in those March 28th numbers when it comes to cotton. Well, before this week's new feature story, the trivia answer is next, and that answer this week is B. By state law, forestry herbicides must be applied by helicopter if aerial application is being used.
Well, in our feature segment today, Farmweek's Amy Taylor has some highlights of the 2013 Dixie National Sale of Junior Champions, which took place February 7th.
Artists for Mississippi livestock exhibitors, the Dixie National Sale of Junior Champions in Jackson is like the grand finale of the show season. The event has experienced a few changes, like relocating to a different venue in 2012 and altering the bidding terms in 2013. But one thing remains the same: life lessons and character development play huge roles in the sale, which offers top dollar for champion animals. Additionally, scholarships are awarded to deserving high school seniors for academic performance and livestock exhibiting achievements. Even after 44 years in existence, the annual Dixie National Sale of Junior Champions tradition is still changing and evolving. For example, the biggest surprise was changing its home venue from the old Dixie Sales Arena to the Mississippi Trade Mart. After a successful Dixie National Sale of Junior Champions in 2012 at the new location, folks here at the 2013 sale say they're happy with the change. Many say that they'll always have fond memories of attending the sale in this arena, but can't believe ever fitting such a large crowd in this space. Being able to gather more visitors must have been a good decision. In 2013, the sale passed the $5 million milestone in funds raised over its history. This year totaled over $316,000, and two new records were set: the highest price for a goat at $15,500 and $25,000 for a steer. Additionally, instead of bidding on an animal per pound, buyers bid on each animal in total dollar amounts. Over 30 academic scholarships were awarded, totaling $53,000. Scholarship recipient Jessica Smith is proud to say she has attended Dixie Nationals every year since she was born and shown cattle since she was 8. She says this was a special year.
Here at this Dixie Nationals, I was named number 2 on the list of the top 25 academic scholars. It's really an honor, and it's really rewarding to know that after I've been to all these Dixie Nationals ever since I was born, and working hard with my cattle to get them in the best shape and getting rewarded for my hard work is really neat. I'm not really sure of what I want to do as far as a career goes. Definitely something in agriculture, because it's been a part of my life ever since I was born, and it's something that I love to do, and it's my passion. So just telling others about the importance of agriculture.
In addition to showing, Smith participates in several other 4-H activities, one of which is performing arts. She even received the honor of singing the national anthem at the 2013 Dixie Nationals Rodeo. When looking back on her showing career, she says one funny and possibly dangerous incident stands out.
When I was 8 or 9 years old, and it was one of my first years showing, and a big Brahma bull got loose on the other side of the ring, and as soon as the chain on the halter clicked, about 12 different kids' calves got loose during showmanship and came stampeding towards me. Luckily, someone reached over the fence and grabbed my heifer before it got loose from me, but that's a memory I'll never forget.
Smith plans to attend Pearl River Community College, then Mississippi State University, to major in agricultural business. Bailey Turbeville of Madison County says she's been rewarded this year not only from having 3 goats in the sale, but from life lessons that will stay with her.
I've just learned like responsibility and respect and leadership. My parents and my sister, we all have to be on the same page. It's not going to work if we're not on the same page with everything. We have to communicate with each other and know what has to be done or it's not going to get done. We have to wash our goats and clip their feet and work with them every day. And when it gets cold, we have to put a tarp up across the back of their pen so the wind doesn't blow in and they don't get cold. We have to put their covers on them and so they stay warmer, especially when they don't have as much hair on them. It's a lot of hard work, and getting up at 5:30 every morning to go feed and stuff isn't as fun then, but then it all pays off at the end. You've worked all year and you're standing out there and that judge comes up and shakes your hand. It just makes it all worth it.
Additionally, Turbeville comments on what it's like explaining to her school friends the concept of showing market goats, such as judging their muscle mass in conformation.
They don't have a clue about anything. I mean, I try to inform them and stuff, but they care and they just don't get it. They don't understand how big of a deal it is. They're just wondering, like, a goat, like, why a goat? And so, I mean, they don't understand that. They just think it's a regular old brush goat and that eating a tin can or something, but it's not like that. And I mean, they've realized now, like I've showed them pictures and stuff, so they see now like what it really is.
Turbeville says she enjoys this experience because it brings her family closer together. Beef Cattle Premier Exhibitor Scholarship recipient Claylee Chisholm explains why showmanship is her favorite show category.
You might not have an animal that can go out and win its class or get Grand or Reserve, but no matter what the animal looks like really, as long as you stay at home and you work with it, you can make a good showman.
In addition, Chisholm says one of her greatest accomplishments was winning first place in 17-year-old showmanship out of about 40 people. She adds that showmanship often involves developing your own personal style in the show ring.
I like to have good posture in showmanship. A lot of people will bend over and get closer to their cattle when I like to stand farther away and stand up straight and really show off my animal.
Additionally, Chisholm says a truly great showman always maintains respectable, sportsmanlike conduct and appropriate behavior.
People are going to see you if you walk out of the ring and, hit your cow or, get real upset and stomp your foot. But, it's important just as much to be a graceful loser as it is to be a graceful winner. Because if you come outside the ring and you're boasting and bragging, people aren't going to react well to that.
Chisholm says this year was bittersweet since it's her last year to show. To obtain such strong support for the livestock show and sale of champions, committee member Chris Glick says it's nearly a year-long effort.
It's something that I just have grudgingly learned to do for this very important cause. It's hard for me to ask for money. But we use corporations and individuals. Many of the corporations are from the areas where the kids are from that are showing it. And there are some city folks that also get involved because of the value of the project.
A lot of the people that will be here today, they do not have that ag background. They're urbanites. They come from areas that they just hadn't had that experience in agriculture. So it's a lot of fun for them because this is the only auction they get to come to, and they get to wear their boots and their hat. So not only are we riding bucking bulls and barrels, we're also looking at market animals as well as the queens and every facet of the rodeo.
Additionally, it's a common belief in the livestock community that exhibitors develop strong character through their projects.
They value things and money in a different way when they have to work for them, instead of just being given everything. And I think that helps with the charitable spirit that we have very strongly here in Mississippi.
There's two things that I always tell people that they really do need to get involved with and that I'm thankful my parents got me involved in, and that's church and 4-H. It has allowed me to go to nearly every state in the United States, and if I sat here and talked about memories, I could talk all day because there's just so many good memories, not of winning trophies, but of just being with friends and being with family.
With so many fond memories to look back on and exciting opportunities to look forward to, those who show livestock can say they are well equipped for success in the future. From Jackson, Mississippi, I'm Amy Taylor reporting. You can watch this story again on our Farmweek website, Facebook page, or YouTube. We'll have links and telephone numbers there for you to find out more about junior livestock shows in Mississippi. You can also contact your county extension service office to join Mississippi 4-H. Participation through Mississippi FFA is available at many public schools. Our website is farmweek.msucares.com.
Thank you, Amy. Well, we are at the end of Farm Week for this week. On our next show, it's unfortunately a familiar situation.
Farmers are often called on to give up their land to pipelines, highways, and in this case, a high-speed rail line proposed in California. It will run through the Central Valley, also known as America's Salad Bowl.
In Southern gardening, cyclamens, these winter bloomers, like cool temperatures. For the rest of the Farm Week crew, I'm Artis Ford.
And I'm Leighton Spann. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.